Hey everybody, it's Brianna, and today we're diving into one of my favorite topics, how to make your business work for you. And as travel advisors, we obviously wear so many hats. We are the sales team, the service provider, the marketing team, the operations, and it's easy to feel like you're constantly spinning plates and juggling all the balls. So whether you are an advisor running solo or managing a small team, at some point you realize that systems, automation, and support aren't luxuries, they're essential. Today, I am joined by someone who knows this world inside and out, Erin Erdos. Erin helps entrepreneurs build workflows and automations that make their business run more efficiently while keeping the human touch that clients love. We're going to talk about what systems and support feel like and look like at every stage of business, and how to know when it's time to automate, delegate, or hire, and how to build processes that actually stick. Erin, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So what kind of background brought you to this like beautiful intersection of I love travel, but I am gonna nerd out when it comes to all the things that go on beyond the scenes and like what I like to call the most important part of running a business, but oftentimes like the unsexy part of our industry, right? It's like it's not
Oh,
the
yeah.
villa in Amalfi Coast, but you're gonna be a lot more successful if you get this part down than that.
I don't know. I personally think processes are sexy, but that's just me. Systems are hot. We'll put it on a pillow or a hoodie or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so what got me here? I've always been the I don't know, let me Google that for you, girl. Like for 15 years, I worked for a comedy promotions artist management company. And so I worked for comedians. Like I was their advance girl. I would make sure that the venue and the team on site had everything they needed, that the comedian was going to have their green room ready, that the tech and the sound crew knew whenever their sound check was going to be, that they had all of the, snacks in the green room, that the artist was happy, that they got paid. Like my job was to do as much in advance so that things on the day went smoothly. And I didn't know this, but I was kind of marathon training for what it's like to be a travel agent because we can't step on that boat with our clients. We can't get on that plane with our clients, unless we're leading the group. I had no idea that this was just like, triage training for travel agenting. But one of the things I loved was the travel part of it, was getting all the details and then eventually realizing, oh, after 10 shows or so, I do these same steps over and over. What if I automatically sent this email to the venue? What if I automatically sent this email to the client so that I'm not writing it fresh every time? I was kind of learning how to do more with just me because we were a small team. And then as our team grew, I taught those processes to everyone. And because I had, step by step, here's how you run an event, a comedy event, here's how you promote a show, anyone could do it, really. And so processes were always a part of my job. I just didn't know what a workflow was back then, but that's what my job was. I even helped create our database, and I am not a coder, like by any means. I will break a system if you let me
Yeah.
code it,
Yeah.
but I can speak to those who code. Like I could be the
Yeah.
go between my boss who was like, I need it to do this, and I'm like, all right, let me get in a corner with this nerdy guy over here. We need this to happen. And I would explain kind of the back end things. And so I understood how your tech stack needed to work together, but always with the goal in mind, because that's what we have to do as travel agents. That's what you have to do as a business owner. Always remember, what do I want to happen? Like before you get lost in the weeds of all the processes and steps, what is the end goal? What do you need to happen? And
Yeah.
that's something I still carry with me, even though I'm not working with comedians anymore.
Yeah, but it's that's like the truth of the statement that there's so much of what we have done in our past and whatever brought us to this industry that is our secret sauce, is like the thing that is like, you know what? I didn't realize how this was going to parlay into this part of the next phase of my life. But look at that. It was setting you up for success before you even knew it. And that's really
I had
cool.
no idea.
Exactly, exactly. So I think something that I've heard you say is that systems should work for us, not the other way around. And what does that actually mean in practice? Because I feel like you've hinted at it, and it's the idea also tied to that fact that like kind of like you being the middleman, it's like you know what it's supposed to look like, and then you kind of like work backwards in a sense. But how would you explain it?
So systems that work for you instead of against you, or systems that work for you instead of you working for your systems. We could think of it that way.
Okay.
You don't want your job to run you. You don't want your computer or your client to run you. You are the owner of your business. You are the master of your life. You are the nucleus of what's happening. And it's really easy to let our systems and our technology run us. So always remember that you're the ringleader here. Like, you need to find systems that support you, that support your business, and that you are not being run by those systems. And what that means for me is knowing what helps me and what doesn't help me. Just because the technology is new and shiny doesn't mean it's something that's going to help your business. Just because there's 5 different CRMs, does not mean that one is necessarily better than the other. The system and the process that works for you is the one that you are going to use and gives the goal and the outcome that you want. So a good example of a system that works for me instead of me working for my system, I used to be tied to my desk. Like, I always had to send out emails. I always had to custom do everything. And what started off for me was, I want to say 5 years ago, when I made my first, I didn't know it was this, but my first workflow, my Disney parks workflow. I realized I was telling my clients a lot of similar information every single time they were going to Disney parks for the first time. And Disney is a hot mess. Like, she's a lot to deal with.
Yes, it
And
is.
if you're going to Disney for the first time, goodness, there's like lightning lane, multipass, what is Genie Plus at the time? And what is your park strategy? What is a park strategy? what
Right.
does it mean to rope drop? What are you talking about? And so I had a series of maybe 30 emails that I built just over time from having to research things for clients, because I got tired of researching the same thing twice. I got tired of having to answer the same question twice. And when there's only one of you, it really helps to start with templates. And that is where I first started building systems, when I realized, oh, if they're going to Disney for the first time, I load my Disney workflow. All of these emails that I know they're going to need are going to go out at the right time, giving them the right information. And it's going to get ahead of their questions, but free up my time so that I can be creative for them, so that I can breathe, so that I could be in literal Disney World at the same time that my clients are getting all of these emails, and not have to manually hit send on every single one of them. And that was one of the first things for me, was a system that works for me that did not require that I be at my desk for it to work.
100%. And I think another thing that I see happen a lot of times is that it's a tendency to be like, wow, like maybe I should just do what somebody else is doing. Like, they have a system
Mm.
or they have a workflow, and I'll just do that because they seem to be kind of figuring it out and away from their desk, and it's working for them. And so I can just copy them essentially, and maybe that'll work for me too. And it's kind of coming the cart before the horse a bit. Like, they're automating or they're creating workflows or systems before they've even like really understood what it is they do and why they do it, and they haven't really documented their own processes. Is that
Oh, yeah.
something you see a lot too, like the signs that that's not really working for you? It's kind of like trying to fix the problem, but like in the wrong order.
It is. Yeah. People are trying to work backwards. It's always good to know what your goal is. Like, have an end goal, have a, um, you know, goal outcome, but way back off from that and then start from zero. And I when I was a virtual assistant to other travel advisors, I would call it process mapping, or a system blueprint, or a system audit, which sounds deeply dorky and silly, but I was like, it's a good audit, I promise. But I would get them out of their head by saying, teach me how to do what you do. You're going to go on vacation. You plan vacations for people all the time. You're going to leave your desk and you're going to go on vacation, and your business has to run without you. So you're going to hire Sammy, pretend I'm Sammy, and I'm going to run your business for you. You need to train me what to do, what to email your client, what happens whenever an inquiry gets submitted. Do you have an inquiry form? Do you do a consultation call? What are some questions that you ask everybody? How are you going to give every fresh person who walks through your digital door a consistent experience? So, by asking them to teach me how to do what they do, instead of just saying, oh, well, I just do it. I just do it. I know that it has to be digitized, but I just do it. It kind of stops their hamster wheel. So
Mhm.
once you again, Grey's Anatomy teaching us things, far beyond its origin, but see one, do one, teach one. Like,
Mm,
you can see your system, you can do your system every day, but to get out of that hamster wheel is to teach it. Because same thing with driving a car. Like, we do those steps 1,000 times a day. It's whatever. But once you teach a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old how to drive a car, you're like, oh dear Lord. Okay, so first you do this, and then you do this. Wait. No, do that. You're kind of reteaching yourself in a way.
mhm.
And that's what I found all the times. The agents, as they were teaching me how to do their job, we would map out their process. So process mapping. And then we would isolate, okay, see this step right here? This could be an automated email. See this step right here? This could automatically be a form that you send to your client when this has happened. And we would just put little gold stars next to candidates for automation. Anytime I saw a moment where I'm like, this doesn't need you, this email isn't changed no matter what client you go to. Whenever we could identify those steps, that was one of their first light bulb moments. They're like, wait a minute. Okay, so we could actually automate this. I could teach this to someone. Someone who isn't me could do this thing, and I could step away from my desk. And that whole process mapping, that act of writing it out, seeing it all like a big blueprint of, start to finish, here's what happens when a client enters and leaves my book of business, what happens? And then
Yeah.
you get to see the gaps. You can start deciding, does this work for me? Just
Yeah.
because I've been doing it the same way all the time, do I need to
Yeah.
keep doing it this way?
Yeah. I really love how you broke that down, because I think that there's two things going on. Number one, I think back to what I said at the beginning, is that we all are like gifted and we see the world in a certain way. And so I feel like sometimes this is second nature to some people. Like their brain just works like this. But I think for a lot of people, especially like in this industry where there's a lot of creativity and there's a lot of like, I feel this and this is, I like people and I love this, but this maybe doesn't seem so like staring you in the face. So stopping and having the opportunity to process map and really get clear on what is actually going on, because it comes up when people feel overwhelmed, when they feel like they're approaching burnout, when they feel like I can't even understand how I would scale, because where's the time, the space, the energy with what I'm already doing and all the things I have to keep up with? Like where would more clients, where would that even fit? And so you get to this point and you're like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how do I, grow? How do I scale? How do I actually just enjoy what I'm doing without feeling like everything's piling on me? It's like the pause and the ability to do this type of work is necessary, whether or not this is intuitive or like your brain automatically goes there. It really is important for everybody, because that's kind of like the foundational aspect, I think, of being able to scale effectively, is to have the opportunity to first help yourself, like put on your own mask before, and then
Oh, yeah.
eventually, I think,
And
have,
then help the child next to you.
yeah, have the ability to bring on help or whatever. But you have to be able to understand, here's how my process works, and here's what it looks like, and here's why. And then it's running as smoothly as it can already. I think what the other thing, like to your point of automating, is like a lot of times people are like, well, I just need help. But there is so much time that can be bought back almost by just doing this process and automating what can be automated before you're like, oh, let me hire a VA or get somebody else to take these things off my plate. If you just really plug this in, how much time could that save you just on its own?
Yeah. And this isn't a travel agent thing. I noticed this across all business owners that I've worked with, corporate, in the music industry, the entertainment industry. Some people throw money at a problem and don't want to do the work of fixing the problem or understanding the problem. They're just like, okay, I'm just going to hire you on the retainer and I just want it to work. And I'm like, okay, buddy, but we're still going to get on a introductory call, and this is going to be uncomfy for you. Like, you
Yeah.
have to not answer your phone for an hour. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you tricky questions about like, what's step one, what's step two. And it's going to feel like, when you first start gardening a plot of land and the earth is like really hard, like when you first till the earth, it's not going to be easy. But then later when you come back, it'll be easier and it'll be easier, and it'll be practice makes perfect. But you have to be willing to do the initial work, lay the foundation, because otherwise you're just building a shaky house. You're building something that's built on band-aids and straws, and it's not going to help you later. So I mean, Terminator teaches us so many things, but I always think in terms of time travel. And I think if I do this thing now, then future me is going to thank me. Like, it's already happened. I just have to do the work now. So anytime I'm kind of whining about like, this is going to be hard now, I'm just like, well, in alternate timeline, Erin, it's already happened. You already did that workout. You already went on that run. You already did this hard thing. So just catch up to her. It's fine. Like, it's going to happen.
That's great. That's great. So for everybody listening, I think like the biggest takeaway is, if you haven't done this already, it is not even something that if you do have the ability to work with somebody like Erin and she's pulling this out of you, but even if you sit down and commit to saying, I'm going to map out the process of what I do from start to finish of a client experience and a client journey, and I'm going to map every single step out, and then I'm going to start to notice where can automation be added in, because this is something I do repeatedly. Every time there's a client, they are going to need to know XYZ information, or they're going to need to go through XYZ step. And, it's always nuanced for the type of business you do and the type of clients you work with and all of that. But there are, within your own, processes, there are going to be the things that you're marking as like, hey, this can be automated, or this can be buttoned up a bit, and this can be clearly explained as this is the next step with dates attached and all of those things, so that the process map is super clear and you could teach it to somebody else and they would understand what you do, why you do it, when you do it without fail. So no matter who you are, no matter where you're at in business, I feel like this is foundational for all of us.
Yeah. And it's, again, it went across all industries I've worked with. I've been lucky enough to work with, more than just travel advisors. I've worked with lots of agency owners and independent advisors, and we all have the same problems. We all have we got into this industry usually because we like travel, because we love opening our mind and meeting a new person that changes how we think, challenges how we think about our world, our environment, our culture. We love food, so we want to travel to the good food. But the whole point is that we want to be out there, and you can't be out there if you are stuck at your desk the entire time, fretting over an email or having to write for the first time a polite decline to someone who just isn't a good fit. And if you're like me and you're a little bit squishy and emotional, saying no or just saying, I'm sorry, you're not the client for me, is really wrecking to put into words. Yeah. If I already have that in a template, which I do.
Much easier. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it takes that weight off my shoulders. I don't have to think of how to say it for the first time. I have at Travel Biz Boss, we have I think 6 different polite declines.
Same. I have not 7,
an ideal
budget, time, location, they all
capacity.
Are yes, all of the things.
This isn't my wheelhouse, and it's also the power of referral. Yes, have you learned the power of referral? Because this has been a life changer for me. I do not have to be okay. Yeah. One time someone hired me to do a Portugal trip, and I was back in my yes and time of the industry, and I was like, you betcha, I'm gonna learn how to do this. I know nothing about Portugal except they've got those yummy little custard thingies.
You're right. Right.
And so I watched hours of YouTube. I watched Johnny Harris hiking videos. I watched logged so many hours and took so many notes, and it was before granola or ChatGPT. So I had nothing to calculate all of these notes and put them into, I was manually doing, probably put 40 hours of work into this trip. It was ridiculous. And then life happened and they couldn't go. And I had all of this knowledge now of Portugal. And I was like, well, I gotta go sometime. And I realized I could have just said, I'm not an expert in Portugal. Now, I know more about Portugal today than I did 4 years ago. That is great. But now if someone came to me and said, I want a custom FIT Italian villa, I would say, that sounds amazing. I want that too. And my friend Ashley D'Aristotele is the Italian girl. She plans Italian in her sleep, in her waking hours. She will do this amazing for you. And it is not for me. Ashley does not touch Disney. with the 10-foot pole. So she says, my friend Erin can do some Disney for adults. Erin can do this, like the power of referral, because by saying, it sounds cliche, but by saying no, it opens up your time to say yes. And it really does. Like, I don't have to be the answer to all things. It's great to learn about a new product because you might learn about something that ends up being your favorite thing to sell. But if the opportunity to sell a new thing just makes you terrified and makes you like, oh gosh, I absolutely know nothing about this. And I feel like I have to say yes because otherwise I'm going to lose this client. Refer it out. And it's okay. Like it's, that has saved my life on more than one occasion, because I do feel like I have to be the answer for all things, or at least I used to feel that way. And being able to say, you know what? I don't know anything about that location, but I know someone who does. Or, you know what? I don't know. Let me Google that for you. Just simply saying, I don't know, but let me find out, has been a superpower in the last 5 years.
Yeah, 100%. That is very, very true. And I am same. I can't touch Disney with a 10-foot pole, but give me Portugal all day, every day.
Really? You'll live longer. People apologize sometimes. They're just like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't do Disney. And I'm just like, you're going to keep your hair and you're going to live longer. Like, honestly, you'll have a better quality of life than those of us that mess with a mouse. Like, it's fine. But,
That's so funny. I'm just waiting because, I have a 4 to 6-year-old. So I probably have a short
it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. But you know what? We're gonna hold our breath. I know we talked a bit about automation, and I think that I'm a lover of automation. I think there are some people who kind of like hold it at arm's length, thinking that this means, my client experience shouldn't feel robotic, or, I have this human connection that I don't want to lose, et cetera, et cetera. But how can we kind of give them this idea and permission maybe of smart automation? Like, this literally is better for everybody here.
Right. I mean, automation can feel robotic and inhuman and, again, like a Terminator wrote the email. And sure, if you just bought a template on Etsy and didn't change it at all, and it doesn't sound like you and has big highlighted text that says enter confirmation number here, it's going to look automated. It's going to look unprofessional. So when you worry about an automated email not sounding human, go to the copy, go to the email. We call it copy when it's the text that's in an email template. You know it's a template. Your client doesn't know it's a template. You know it's an automation. Your client does not know it's an automation. Unless you have literally in the email, it says, cough, cough, you caught me, I'm an automation. I do have that in some of my emails because I just want them to know that this is getting ahead of a question just in case they already had the answer to it.
Oh, that's cute.
And they actually laugh at that. They're like, cough, cough, you caught me, I'm an automated email. Start with the copy. Make it sound like you. And think to yourself, did I have to change this email before it went out to a client? Am I basically copying, pasting over and over and over? If you are not making any edits to that welcome home email, if you are always welcoming them home and pointing them towards your Google business page, or asking them the same questions, what was it like to travel here? What was it like to work with me? That could be an automation. And your clients don't know. It doesn't make you less of a business owner or less bespoke, less high touch if you have automated. I think that's the other thing. People think, oh, well, I'm not going to be luxury or classy enough if I automate emails. I have to custom write every single one for my very ritzy, wealthy clients. No. Like, definitely free up the time with automated emails so that if you know your clients are gluten-free and foodies and going to Italy, by golly, watch one of Kareen Johnson's webinar and making a custom food map with ChatGPT. Oh my gosh, I love it. You can create like a Google map with all the dots of where they should go that have all the restaurants that specifically would have what they need. That's free time you had because you weren't having to custom write your Bon Voyage email, your 30 days out email, your, by the way, you're traveling to Europe email. Here's some things you should know about money and communication. Like, these are all email templates that took time off your shoulders so that you could get creative and fun and bespoke and custom.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I need to put that in my back pocket. So wait, she has like a class, a course. What is this to do the food?
She has a webinar. I will try to find a resource and send it to you. Okay. So she did a free webinar one time, and she's given this before at what's the word? Conferences and panels and things like that. But the jaws that drop every time I see this, the same thing whenever she makes something in Gamma and just you see it right itself. It's a
Exactly.
lovely thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Um, yeah, I need to say that. But using ChatGPT or just using AI to help create something custom. It could be a food map. It could be a walking tour. It could be a photo spots in Nashville. Like if you want to find all of the murals in Nashville, here's a route to take through the city. These are all custom fun things that, yeah, you do want to spend like 30 minutes or so creating this. And then you have it the next time someone needs it, by the way. Just because you created it custom for someone one time does not mean you can't use that exact same thing, repurpose it for the next person that might want
Right.
that same thing.
100%. 100%. I think I touched about on this like very slightly, but I want to talk to you a little bit about like when you are, because there is the both, right? Like you feel overwhelmed, you're getting burnt out, you're never leaving your desk, and it's like the question you tell yourself is, oh, I just need somebody to take this off my plate. But
Mm.
first and foremost, you need to get your system set up, and then there does come a time when yes, you need to bring somebody in, delegate, hire, allow somebody else to help support this business that you've built. Let's talk about that for a second, because I know a lot of advisors, they get to a point where this is the reality of their business, when to bring in help and how to kind of
Mm.
know when it's that time to delegate or just needing better systems. Like what is kind of like the things you were seeing at different stages of like, okay, now you got it to this point and that's fabulous. And then now maybe we delegate or you stop here. No, no, no. Like don't pass go yet. You really just need better systems. And this is not the answer for you.
Right. So I think if it is if it's email, if it's form, if it's communication that's going out to your client, your CRM, your system should be working for you, buddy. Like whether you're using Turn or TravelJoy or Travify, those are my favorite big three. But your CRM, your client management process should be able to handle those things so that you don't have to hire someone to send that email or send that form or request that information from your client or even create that client contact. Your tool should be doing that for you. So that's where the system can handle it. But if it is a task that is specialized or if it is outside of your client management, your CRM, like inbox maintenance. Even that can be handled with technology, but some people just want a human in their inbox every day. They want a human delegating and moving that around. I like to tell people start with what you hate. Like, what do you just what takes forever and it just like drags and you're like for me it's social media marketing. Like I don't know what to do. I love taking the pictures, love taking pictures, but then I don't know what to do with the darn thing because I have 12,000 photos in my phone, like gigabytes of space and good photos. Like they're good, but they're not going anywhere, and I need someone to just like, I don't know, sit on me and say, no, okay, you're pressing post right now, we're going to schedule this out. I need that accountability, because for me there's all this emotion and this stuff wrapped up into it. Like what if it's not the right photo, what if I don't say the right thing, that sort of thing. And this outside party, this VA, this wonderful social media manager that I could hire, doesn't have all that emotional stuff. They're just like, no, this just needs to be done. Give me your stuff. We're going
Yeah.
to give me an idea of your voice, we're going to schedule it out. And that's an example of something I hate that I delegate. Yeah, I absolutely delegate that. Whenever I'm in a busy season where I ramp up my social media, same thing, email marketing. If that stuff just like gives you hives, delegate that out. Find someone that they love to do that thing that you hate. So, it's a yin and yang of love and hate. Like, what do you not like doing? What do they love to do? Because they will do it in a fraction of the time that it takes you agonizing hours to do this thing you don't like to do. So start with the things you hate and start with the things that do not need you necessarily, because there are a lot of things you can delegate that you could still do and you want to take ownership of, but do you need to do it? Do you physically, like, does it only live in your brain?
Right. And the thing about it is, it becomes so much easier to see success when you are ready to hire or delegate, when your systems are really, really solid. Because when you've built something that is easy to follow, easy to explain, easy for somebody to be like, yeah, I get this. I could step in and, take over. That is when you really begin to see success. When it doesn't work easily or when it feels like there's so much friction, it's usually due to the systems not being where they should be when you brought somebody into the chaos. And then it's just like you're on your end thinking like, this isn't working, it's not helpful. And they're on their end being like, well, what the heck am I supposed to be doing with all this? Like, this is like,
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense, you know? So I think it still does go back to like the systems have to be solid, and then it will make somebody else stepping into what you do so much easier for the both of you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can understand, if you can explain how to do something clearly, then you can translate that to another person. If when you say it out loud, you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Or if you get fumbled up whenever you're just trying to repeat the processes, it's going to be really hard to teach that. So you have to know the haircut you want before you go to the salon. Like you have to know what you want. Otherwise, if you just say surprise me, like no one's going to be happy. You're not going to walk out with Jennifer Aniston hair. You're going to walk out with like half a whoop-de-doo and half of a buzz cut. You have no idea. Like don't say surprise me to a brand new person that you're onboarding. So it really helps to know this is what I need taken off my shoulders. This is what I want my client to experience, or this is the outcome I want. And it's okay to say, I don't know what I don't know. Like, I know that this is causing me stress. I know that this is what needs to happen. And the right VA, the right person is going to be able to fill in the gaps. They're going to be like, okay, well, I see that this is stressful. I see it's taking this much time, and this is what your end goal is, right? So there might be an easier way that you didn't even know of that could still accomplish that same goal. And it could be as simple as a lead magnet or updating your website or trying to create a better funnel from people finding you on Reddit or on social media into your CRM. And the right person who lights up about that stuff, loves it, is going to honestly make you more excited about it too, because you're no longer in the cycle of I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. If you're working with someone, they're just like, I got this. This is so much fun. Let's do it. You're going to be a little bit more excited about it too. And I mean, passion rubs off. Like, you know, excitement and joy about something does rub off. And I've noticed that myself. Like, I still don't love social media management, but I like it a lot more now that I've worked with people who do love it and show me like the joy of the processes behind it, and you know how it can be fun. So
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I heard you. I don't know if this is like your own phrasing or what, if you've trademarked it yet or something like that. But I heard you talk about the beast mode process
oh,
and and how to make that stick. And so I'd love for you to kind of share with us, what does that look like in practice? This next level of consistency and flow and what have you. Like, what is your beast mode process in terms that we would understand?
yeah. So if I can use Travel Biz Boss as an example, we've got basic workflows that are for onboarding, planning, and post trip. And then we've got some booked workflows that can work for any cruise, any custom FIT. They're not basic that is bad. They're basic that's good. It means that you could use them for any version of that. But when you go beast mode, you're going beyond basic. You need it to be supplier specific. You need it to be destination specific, or even client needs specific. So an example is I could add a cruise booked workflow to my trip whenever my client has booked a cruise. And that's fine. It's still going to give them good information and things like that. Or if my client is going on a Virgin Voyages cruise, I could add my Virgin Voyages workflow to it. That is Virgin specific, top to bottom. It is a supplier specific workflow. So they're going on a Virgin Voyages cruise, right? So we're going to be cheeky. We're going to be adults only. We're going to have Virgin Voyages lingo and flair. I'm going to say ahoy sailors instead of hello, good afternoon. It's going to have, you know, just a Virgin Voyages vibe from the beginning to the end of the process. And because it's supplier specific, I have got timed emails that are specific to when Virgin opens up their online check-in, whenever you can book shore things, or what they call shore excursions, when you can do X, Y, and Z that the supplier allows. Anytime you make a beast mode workflow, you always start with what are the suppliers' timelines, because they kind of set like the foundation of your house, and then you can add some wallpaper and some cute paintings and things like that. But your supplier is going to set kind of the mile markers for you. Like 120 days is usually a final payment for a lot of cruise lines, or
Yeah.
30 days before Disney is their final payment for their packages. Find out, when does the supplier need these things? And then that will help you inform your clients ahead of those dates. Get them prepared for it when their booking windows open up, whenever they can start to book dining. You don't want to tell them about all their dining choices a year before that booking window opens up. You want it to be timely. So when you're building a beast mode workflow and you're thinking, oh gosh, do I have to write 1,000 emails? No. Just think of 2 types of emails you're going to be writing. Your get hyped, like let's get excited about your trip. And that can be kind of on the front end, like after they've paid their deposit, let's tell you a little bit about your Disney cruise ship or your Virgin Voyages ship. And then our action oriented emails, because these are emails where we need our client to do something. We need them to check in. We need them to complete their security photo. We need them to pick a boarding time. I need you to pick your dining, or you need to tell me what your dining choices are so I can get it to you ahead of time. And you don't want to give them email fatigue. So you don't want to be a newsletter while you're planning their trip. Like that's the other thing with beast mode workflows is like, yeah, it has 30 emails that are part of this workflow, but I don't need to email my client once a week. Like that is not my newsletter. Newsletters are great, but they are not for planning your trip. Like you want your client to open the emails you want them to open. They can't get email fatigue. It's really important.
I love that. So it would really be helpful for people who do have that, like, enough of the business in a particular niche that like it's worth thinking about taking your workflows and doing this next level. And that could be a supplier, that could be a destination. Like, wow, 80% of my business is Italy, or, 60% of my business is the Caribbean, whatever the case may be. But having like some sort of like narrowed down niche that your business is already kind of following that path, and there's enough business there that this type of customization and leveling up really, really makes sense, and really just takes what you do to the next level.
Yeah, because then you can just let it ride. Like then you can let your workflows do the work for you. Whenever you get supplier destination specific, I mean, like not just Caribbean workflows or all inclusive workflows, but think about creating just a sandals workflow. Like say you book a whole lot of sandals, or you have a lot of clients that love sandals and you just want to have it ready. It's going to be built off of an all-inclusive workflow, probably. There's things you want to tell them, but you're going to tell them specific things about their sandals resort. You're going to tell them specifically when they can check in, when they even need to bother with their sandals app, because it's kind of useless before 45 days, when they need to, get their final documents. All of those sandal specific things are just going to customize and make it even more hyper personalized for your client, that you're not just saying, you're going to Mexico, hope you have a fun time. No, you're going on a sandals vacation to Mexico. And don't forget to stop by the desk, before you leave. You can book your next vacation. It's not cheating on me. Just forward me that confirmation email and I'll, be attached to your next confirmation email. These specific sandals things. I worked with a virtual assistant client last month, and so I've got sandals on the brain. But I mean, if you sell a lot of a supplier, if you sell a lot of a destination, or if you are a big old nerd for that supplier destination, if you just have a lot of expertise and a lot of things to say about it, those are the foundations of a beast mode workflow. Like for me, it's Virgin Voyages because I love it. I've sailed on it. I've sold it a lot. It's 92% of my business now, which is crazy because I got into this industry because of Disney, and now it's a lot of Virgin.
Wow.
But I needed a workflow to be able to work for me to give clients specific Virgin Voyages information while I was on a turn conference on a Virgin Voyages ship, actually. Like I had like 3 clients that were stepping on board, but I wasn't worried. I wasn't checking my email because we had prepared them, because I didn't give them email fatigue. They opened all their emails when they needed to. They were ready to go. And my system, my process worked for me so that I wasn't at my desk, but I knew everything was handled.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I know that you have probably, like you said, your favorites and like your go-to, and this industry kind of has a couple of like front runners in terms of CRMs that we can use that really make our lives easier. And I also think that there is some truth to the fact that there are so many advisors that don't come near to working with a platform to its potential. It's kind of like they just want to throw something else. So well, I have this, but now I need Asana. And then I have this, but now I need, Monday. And then I have this, but maybe I should try Trello. And like, then it's like, now you have 7 things all doing kind of like overlapping things, maybe talking to each other, probably not. What have you found? And this is just your opinion. And like I said, there's a lot of different things out there. And I wouldn't even tell somebody like switch. I would tell somebody like learn what yours does and make sure that it's doing what it can. But what do you think, like, how far can people get by just being like, hey, I'm working with this and it's doing everything that I need? What do you love and why, maybe?
So I love Asana and Trello and Monday and ClickUp. I love all those task management systems. They're wonderful, but they're really best for overall business processes. Like Trello is fantastic for project transparency amongst your team. So if you are scaling and maybe you're delegating social media to agents within your team, or maybe you have a virtual assistant, oh, I love ClickUp and Asana and Trello for virtual assistant tasks, because it's a way to, again, give project transparency and be able to see, oh, this project is waiting for my review, because it's in the board that says waiting for review. And it's given me a little trigger to remind myself so that nothing falls through the cracks.
Right.
You know, something like reminder to take out the garbage or personal reminders. All of those are really great outside of your CRM. But for anything that relates to your trip planning, your contact management that is specifically about their trip, I let my CRM do the heavy lifting for that. Like, that is not for my email marketing platform. I'm actually a terrible email marketer. Like, I don't do it very often. I have the great problem of word of mouth. I don't really email market, but I let my CRM handle all the communications that need to happen before and while they are on the trip. And then a little bit of post follow-up, some regeneration, some, reminding people, hey, a year ago you were on vacation. 6 months ago you were just stepping off a cruise. You want to do it again? Things like that are still kind of tied to the trip they just went to. I let my CRM handle that. And I think, do you want specific examples of my
Yeah.
favorite?
Why not?
Okay.
Yeah. I think that
I
like
mean,
you would be the one to know.
I worked for Turn last year, which is a wonderful startup. I mean, eventually we can't call it a startup anymore because she's started up. Like, it's
You're
just
right.
she's up.
Yeah.
But they are, if Leslie Knope and an Energizer Bunny just like got in a room and decided to make a travel software, like, that's what it is. They went bananas. And I loved working with them. The team was fantastic. There was only like 11 of us back then, and now there's over 40 in their team
Wow.
now. So
Wow.
proud of them. And for years before that, I didn't work with TravelJoy, but I worked with advisors on educating them how to use TravelJoy. And TravelJoy and Turn are still my two favorite CRMs. Travify has some really cool CRM properties coming up. Like, they are releasing a lot of stuff. The great thing that this means for you is if you have one of those three things, Turn, Travify, or TravelJoy, because I really think those are the best three personally, is that competition whets competition. And so every time TravelJoy comes out with something, or every time Turn comes out with something, honestly, they're kind of the trends that are here.
Yeah.
TravelJoy is like, hold my beer. I'm going to
Yeah.
go work on that. And then a
Right.
week later, they're like, we have got Itinerary Copilot coming. Like, they just had a webinar yesterday where they're going to be the Iron Man suit of itinerary planning. I'm just like, all right, TravelJoy, look at
Uh-huh.
you
Uh-huh.
go. And you
Yeah.
know who
Yeah.
this benefits? The user. It
Yeah.
benefits you. If you are a TravelJoy user, if you're a Turn user, if you're a Travify user, like, these all three, they're just going to be neck and neck because they want to one up each other, and it's going to make a better product for you.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get shiny object syndrome. I think that they all serve purposes of a CRM. They all communicate to your client. They all deliver itineraries and proposals and invoices, all the things you need your CRM to do. They're just a little different. I think if you're a little nerdier, if you want more automations, if you want more triggers, more automatic capabilities, Turn's your girl. Like, there's just more. There's more triggers. There's more things that can automatically happen for you to set it up. TravelJoy is so beautifully user friendly. Like, it just works. It is great. The task lists are lovely. They're already connected to all the emails that you might want to send. Sharing task lists amongst your team is very easy as well. But basically, if you want more, Turn has more. But if you just want something that works, TravelJoy really works well. Me personally, a lot of my I mean, I still own accounts in all three, but I use Turn 95% of the time. Like, that's just what I use to run my travel business now. And it's, you said it earlier, before you switch systems, before you get a whole new CRM, see if there's more demos, see if there's educational resources. There are so many free resources that, again, those three CRMs have available that you don't have to pay for. They have great customer support teams. Turn has a fantastic customer support team. You can get live one-on-one with a human and learn everything there is to know about their agency product, or how to, understand automations and workflows. TravelJoy has great webinars. They have great educational videos. They're all on YouTube. There are a lot of free resources that you can turn to that are self-paced. But
Yeah.
sometimes people need the accountability of a live person with them. Sometimes people even need the accountability of I'm paying for someone's time. Like for
Right.
me, that's working out. Like
Yeah.
I needed to hire a trainer, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do a sit up unless like a burly man or woman is telling me to give me 10 more. Like I'm not doing it. Like you could like hang a Twix in front of me and that might incentivize me, but like I'm very treat motivated. But I'm not going to do it on my own. I need to know that I paid money. I love my money. And so
Yeah.
if I paid money, then I have to get something out of it. And if you're like that, then that's where, you know, a one-on-one with someone really helps. There are amazing service providers out there that understand these CRMs, coaches
Yeah.
that can get into it. We have a service like that at Travel Biz Boss. But whatever is going to help it stick, try to learn the system that you have, especially if your host agency or your agency is already paying for it. Sometimes
Right.
your dues include access,
Yeah.
even free access to like Access, TravelJoy, you know, any CRM. If it's already included, see what you can do with it, because I will be willing to bet money, which I love my money. I will be willing to bet money that there is more that you can do. Like you haven't hit the roof yet of what your CRM can do.
Yeah.
But people do get shiny object syndrome. And that is really tough. But just try to stay in your lane of what you have. And if you keep realizing, I wish it did this, I wish it did this, I wish this could happen, and it just doesn't exist for that CRM, those are all indicators that you might need to move to another one. If
Yeah.
your clients are having issues with something, they're like, I don't like this form, I don't understand it, the itineraries don't make sense, the app crashes. If you're noticing a consistency of challenge points and struggles and walls, those are also indicators that it's time to move. So use what you have, but don't be afraid to see the writing on the wall if it's time to move to another
Yeah.
one.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And what is it exactly that you are doing now at Travel Biz Boss?
I am the efficiency specialist there, which is just a fancy way of saying I'm a high functioning nerd. I I run all of our turn setups. So
Okay.
anytime someone wants to not just throw money at a problem, but they just don't have the time or inclination, I will set up their turn account, and I love it. I don't know why, but I love it. And I get all their emails in their account. I connect all their automations and their workflows, and then I teach them how to use it, because we
Nice.
are big fans of information autonomy. We don't gatekeep
Yeah.
stuff. Like education and information should be free. So if you invested all of this money into having me set it up for you, then by golly, you should not have to go through me to be able to make an edit in the future.
Yeah.
So I load them with all these tutorials, and they're short because I have a short attention span. So if I can't get through a video, you can't get through a video. So they're all like 1 to 3 minutes long, and they specifically show you, here's how to create a tag, here's how to move a trip, here's how to automate this, and here's how to edit this going forward. I love it. I run all of that. Corrine handles all of our TravelJoy setups, and we're adding Travify soon. But I also do system coaching. I personally have a product called the System Tune-Up, and it can be to process map. It could be to say, hey, Erin, I use TravelJoy, or I use Dubsado, or I use Tess, and I am not using it to its best of its ability. I need to understand my tech stack more. Or, hey, I need to build a workflow, or I need some ideas on how to create this copy. I love creating copy. So basically the hour is yours. We create a custom hour to either do a tune-up on the system you're already using, or figure out how to do something custom and fun. It's all recorded. It's just a good nerdy power hour.
I love it. I love it so much, because you're my kind of people. I am always on the lookout for somebody to be like, you know what? Like, I love how your brain works, and I know it can help me if you just do a little bit of a download and like show me the way. And so I think that is
Well, I
just
wish I
really
had
good.
that Matrix chair. I really do. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, just for my own personal use, I would love to just like download Samba skills, any
Yeah.
dance skills at all.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I want a Matrix chair someday. But now it has to be a real hour, not in a chair. And we have to actually do the work. But one day we might have a Matrix
You
flash
never
drive or
know.
something.
I love it. Well, Erin, thank you so much for this conversation today. It was practical and inspiring, which I think is the best of both worlds. This is the thing that really should light you up because it makes such a difference in the way that your business functions, but also the way that you feel as a business owner and the way that you're able to operate a hopefully successful, thriving business, but also really, really enjoy your life while you're doing it. So that's what
Yeah,
I think that you
absolutely.
brought to us today. And I'm really, really thankful. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you. And I'll give you one more takeaway. It doesn't
Yes.
always have to be you going on vacation, but let's say the inevitable happens and you have to go to a doctor or something. I had surgery in January. I'm a cancer survivor, so I had some surgeries.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why I couldn't work for Turn long term because a startup is hard. And surviving cancer is hard. But my business had to run while I was recovering. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I had lots of video tutorials that I could pass off to my husband, actually. And I talked through in the video, here's how I do this, here's how I do this. So he was able to log on, he was able to log
Wow.
things into Turn for me because I had automated emails. None of my clients knew that there was an issue, but all of my clients traveling, I had an email template ready to go to let them know, hey, my assistant Dustin is going to be managing your communications for the next 2 weeks, but I promise he's got it handled. Because I took the time to record all those things, I could recover because I couldn't see for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I could
Yeah.
recover, and my business did not physically need me for it to work, and that was
Yeah.
a huge weight off my shoulders because you never
Blessing.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That is. It's a blessing. And I'm glad you're here now. But like that is a true
oh, me
testament.
too.
Yeah. It's a true testament to like, yeah, you never know. Life is so unpredictable. But like, yeah, having your business be able to run without you physically present is a gift, a gift. So I hope that people took something away from today and also will take action on what they heard. So thank you again for joining us. And I hope that everybody has a fabulous rest of your day.